Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now the last day of August before we get into September, which is when the marketing for the Andor series is really going to kickstart by Lucasfilm. We also have the Bad Batch Season 2 on the horizon, along with Tales of the Jedi that's going to pretty much conclude the 2022 year of Star Wars material. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new Star Wars universe is that a lot of fans around the world have been very much invested in what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, along with George, are really attempting to complete with, of course, The Mandalorian Season 4, The Mandalorian Season 3, as well as the Ahsoka series. So, those three shows, or those 2 seasons of Mando and the Ahsoka series, is really going to have a lot to offer to the fans. A lot of surprises, a lot of cameos, a lot of Legends lore that's going to be made canon, and a whole lot more as well. Now, that's not the end of everything here, because Jon and Dave are also going past their limits with making a lot of changes to the current Star Wars lore and the Star Wars canon material, and how that's going to have a big impact on the sequel trilogy movies, and exactly how that's also going to progress over into the Mandoverse. Now, one thing that Disney executives have been very busy with right now is, of course, regulating the Star Wars universe. Basically, to them, trying to figure out what's too much or what's too little of certain things that are popping in and out of the series that they have planned. So overall, everything ranging from the Mandoverse to what they are currently doing with Ahsoka, there's a lot in hand here that Jon and Dave are trying to really accomplish. They have a lot of ambition, and they really have a lot of goals in mind. So, moving past this, with Disney executives currently very frustrated with Kathleen Kennedy's direction for the Acolyte show and Skeleton Crew, they have been making some big changes to the Star Wars lore with Jon and Dave in order to further enhance the Star Wars experience for the fandom. Now, it's described that currently one of the big plans by Disney is to have both The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker receive a handful of re-edits in order to fulfill the planned retcons for the Star Wars TV shows and even the books and more. Specifically, some scenes will be given major enhancements just as the original trilogy got the special editions, and that one of the scenes that is planned to be heavily edited is described to involve the addition of Force ghosts appearing behind Luke Skywalker in order to aid him completing the Force projection technique. Now, of course, actors Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor have already signed contracts already in the past couple of months to get involved in any minor appearances in different ways, such as this one as a prime example, that Lucasfilm is creating a plan to use McGregor's facial structure to lay out over CGI in order to make him appear just like Sir Alec Guinness as much as possible. Now, the scene is also said to involve the Force ghost of Yoda. This was all an idea made by Jon Favreau, as there is an upcoming book that is about to explain how Luke Skywalker achieved this power in The Last Jedi with the help of the Force ghosts. Now, let me just stop here quick, because we talked about this briefly a couple of days ago, about this big plan that Disney has to make re-edits to both, of course, The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. And there's a lot at hand here, because this is something that Jon and Dave are taking directly from the fans. And you can see that not only do they pay attention to fan casting, but they're also paying attention to fan ideas and concepts and making that into a reality, except in different ways here and there. Jon and Dave, I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but these are guys that actually like to make fan dreams come true. I don't know if you guys knew, but Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, that was all coming from the fans. The fans actually were asking to make that happen, and Jon and Dave made it happen because of the fans. So just keep that in mind, is that this wasn't like Lucasfilm's or Disney's call on the creative end. This was a personal thing that Jon and Dave said to themselves, hey, let's accomplish that because the fans want it. So moving forward from all of this, alright, this is where things begin to progress even further, is that Lucasfilm is said to have gotten these ideas, like I say, from fans and are going to be utilizing them into the Star Wars films. Another major re-edit that will be applied to The Last Jedi is set to involve an older version of Mara Jade being killed off in the burning temple that belonged to Luke Skywalker in order to create a better reason as to why he vanished into the darkness on a remote island. Now, Lucasfilm was already setting up young appearances of Mara Jade in The Mandalorian 4, however, they will be briefly casting somebody older to portray Mara Jade in the flashback for The Last Jedi, to fulfill what's about to be done in the current books and comics for 2023 throughout 2024 that's going to make Mara Jade officially canon, and especially during the sequel trilogy events. So here's another thing, is that this is basically Favreau and Filoni's way of really making the retcons in the books and the comics visually canon as well to the common moviegoer. They know that there are a lot of fans out there that only want to watch the movies, that there are fans that don't read the books or the novels. They want to make sure that these retcons and changes can be seen in the actual movies. And to me, I think that the fact that we are getting like a special edition treatment-ish, for the sequels is a pretty big deal. I think that nobody's really going to mind it. Not everyone's going to have a problem with this, because already fans feel that the sequels need improving. And they do, let's be honest about that. I mean, they really, really do. When you look at some of the lore in the sequel trilogy, nothing was explained in great detail. In fact, it was Kathleen Kennedy's idea to leave the fans in the dark as to how Palpatine returned. Exactly how was he alive? Nobody knew. In the actual movie in and of itself, you had to read the novelization, which points out that he is indeed a clone, but with the spirit of the old Palpatine transferred to the new one. So that's basically what happened. So moving forward from that, alright, now Lucasfilm has been looking into actress Julianne Moore to fulfill that scene of Mara Jade. However, Lucasfilm, of course, somebody that they originally wanted to use as Mara Jade in the early drafts of Episode 7 that were scrapped. Other scenes that will be edited for the sequel trilogy involve actual visions of Ben Solo destroying the Jedi Temple and even destroying Luke's Jedi students one by one visually, as well as the Force ghosts that appear around Rey in the form of a circle to guide Rey to defeating Emperor Palpatine, which was one of the deleted scenes, by the way, that will now be inserted into the story and shifted around to make it officially canon. Once again, a prime example of John and Dave making something that the fans made and actually putting them into the movie. So there was a deleted scene, and we talked about this before actually a year and a half ago, about the Force Ghost scene that involved Mace Windu, Ahsoka, Luminara, Leia, Luke, and a whole lot more, Yoda, Obi-Wan, Anakin, in the form of a circle around Rey as she's going up against Palpatine. And I should really, correct myself there. It was more or less a C formation, so that Rey has a clear path in front of her towards Palpatine. So that's basically what the scene was supposed to entail right from the very beginning, and they just ditched it. Now, that was all Kathleen Kennedy's idea, to get rid of the Force Ghost visually speaking. She felt that less is more, and keeping it very mysterious is the best way to go. So overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.